Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 184, and today we're going to be playing Pirates. And so it still counts as Pirates. I did the mathematics on it. We've got a Misfortune, we've got a Jagged Butcher, and we've got a copy of Heavy Metal. Those all are Pirates, and so we are going to be playing a Pirates deck today. But nonetheless, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the videos, I do want to put a bit of a disclaimer up in front of this one. This deck is not tuned for ladder grinding. It's not to say that you won't have success with it, because I think it's a very powerful deck, and I think Swain is definitely something you want to be doing in the 3.16 patch, but this has some kind of ideas baked into it for best of 3, now that we're coming up upon seasonals, and it's not really tuned and optimized for best of 1. And so our idea with seasonals is that we're going to just leave Nami up. There's 2 versions of Nami really running around. There's Nami Twisted Fate and Nami Lee Sin. And this deck is much more effective against the decks that don't have Twisted Fate in it, right? We're playing all of these 1 health units between our Shell Shockers and Mirai Wardens. Ideally, they're not going to get AoE down. So what we're kind of hoping to see is Swain is going to be all over the place. Everyone's going to be playing Swain. We're hoping that Twisted Fate gets pulled into the Swain deck, and that people just move to playing Nami Lee Sin because she still carries a pretty strong matchup against Swain and a lot of the decks that are out there and running good. And so we're hoping to kind of get a real shift in the meta that's going to be into our favor, to where we're playing a lineup that's good to even against Nami, and then we're just going to ban Twisted Fate out, and we're hopefully going to we're going to ban Swain out. Hopefully that has Twisted Fate attached to it. And so, if you have been following along over the past few videos, the deck list is a little bit different than what we were playing in the Gauntlet. I have removed the Riptide Sermons. I felt like they were just too much expensive stuff in a deck that's already playing the 3 copies of Leviathan and 3 copies of Swain. And so those have been removed. And to fill in for that spot, I've added in 1 Riptide Rex, and then another copy of Crusty Codgers. So we got a little bit more in the top end, and then another Swain kind of enabler down at the bottom. And then also in our previous video, we were running 2 copies of Heavy Metal. I've pulled 1 copy of Heavy Metal out for the addition of Ravenous Flock, just give us a little bit more opportunity to level up Swain. And so a little bit more turbo Swain aspects to this deck, if you will, but we haven't given completely up at the top end. We've actually added in this a little bit more of a boom with the Riptide Rex. And so otherwise, this should feel very similar to what you're used to in terms of Pirates, a really aggressive and strong early game, Misfortune to make all of our small units attack up, and then a nice quality collection of burn spells to help take down the opponent, with the Nox and Fervor doing double duty in boosting up our Swain. And so that's it. I'm ready for battle. I hope you are too. I checked the pay-to-win price on this one, and it has been paid. We are paid in full on this. We got a couple of epics in here that aren't leveled up, but otherwise everything in here is looking nice and strong. Okay, Fiora Pantheon jumping into the mix. This is a slightly weaker matchup for us. They can throw us some fits with the Fiora popping off, but I think it's still okay. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to the Ravenous Flock here just as a bit of a Fiora protection. I think we're kind of okay if we don't pick up like a double set of plays for turn 2, right? We want to be playing something on turn 2, but I think we have enough cards in our deck that we can hopefully just fill out our curve without just getting boomed here. Was not the case. We did we did miss with our hits, but hopefully we can still recover.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
Time to get rich, bro. See if this Make It Rain saves the day for us. I think that this Misfortune's probably just going to get popped here. They're going to have combat tricks very frequently, but this still gets us a good addition to the board. So he has to spend the single combat and the goat. We punch in a little bit of damage, get a couple of booms up for our Swain. Not the worst. Let's see if he comes at us with a Fiora now. It'd be a kind of a weak Fiora. He doesn't have the necessary tools to be getting big takedowns with her. Now, this is a little unfortunate. We probably, well, we didn't have the mana last turn. We would have liked to have Ravenous Flocked this Petrocyte Broadwing, but didn't quite have the mana to pull it all off. All right, so Krusty Codger, you're online, bro. We're going to add a misfortune here as well. See if we can't get ourselves a decent combat.
Seen any sheep around here?
Did you get a good one? Oh, Scout. I love getting Scout generations from this. Let's see if that Pantheon's coming down next turn. This is a very powerful hit from opponent. It's going in with the single combat. Okay. Guess there's no real reason to be dropping Nox and Fervors or anything here.
This way, come along.
Taking him to 12. We're getting close to that danger zone on him. A little bit close to that land of the lethals. We would of course prefer them to be just a little bit closer, but the Leviathan was not a great draw here.
We speak with blades.
Let's see what happens. We have to just spend some mana. I feel like if we just pass the turn, our opponent is going to too frequently just accept the pass and send it back. And so let's at least get a little bit of card draw, get a little bit of something going here, and then see if we can't get a takedown on this Fiora. We have like some protection from the OTKs with the Ravenous Flock, since if he's going to like try and get the OTK with Fiora, then we can potentially sacrifice a unit away. But not like a card. It feels like at this stage it's gonna be tough to pull off an OTK for him, right? He's got 2 single combats down. The Fiora is not coming down until like turn 7, so it's not the ultimate scare fest that you would expect out of a Fiora. But cool. Now we just get to play fun cards like the Leviathan. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to play it, but I can assure you, it's fun. Nothing wrong with dropping Leviathans out here. Okay, so we take opponent to 5. Assuming he can't interact with the Leviathan, we'll take him down to 3 and have him in Nox and Fervor range. I don't want to just go all in on this Nox and Fervor too early, but feels like we should be in a decent spot. He's probably going to be like casting a spell onto Pantheon to try and get him fated. The next turn will swing around, see what he's capable of doing. No lifesteal, please. He hit. Yeah, Scout elusive, so we do have to worry about getting OTK'd by Pantheon next turn. Golden Aegis. Okay. Definitely have to worry about it now. I guess the kinda saving grace here is he didn't hit Challenger. So he can't just kill our Leviathan and then keep himself up at above Nox and Fervor range. But his Pantheon is big. He's able to get a kill with the single combat kind of card here, Concerted Strike. Hopefully he's just out of them at this point. He can heal out of this as well, depending on his list. Yeah. I don't think we have any other gems that we can be drawing, but let's take a quick peek. Nope, that's going to do it. Little unfortunate. I forgot how fun it can be to play against Pantheon. You just bring that RNG fest in here. Give it to me more. Now, I honestly don't mind the Pantheon that much. I think it's disappointing that Riot came out and said that they're not going to put Scout on generated abilities and they put Scout on Improvise. I think we would have been more than capable of handling that game had the Scout not been involved. Now, this is another interesting matchup. This is not a good matchup for us. Like I said, we're out here not intending to play against Swain. I'm okay to play against Pantheon, but this is a matchup we're actually looking to ban out in the Swain. And this is something that I'm kind of cool with. The Nora matchups on her own are pretty bad for the decks that we're bringing. And so if they want to pair Nora in with Swain, I feel like that feels a little bit better for us if they're just going to put their Twisted Fates out there somewhere else. So this is a deck Alan ZQ has been kind of promoting here recently, and it doesn't play a ton of units. It's all focused on the portals, and then it's looking to just flood the board with the portaled units, and then just play a ton of removal spells. I was like, are we really playing Hunt the Weeks these days? All right, apparently not. It's it's a factor of the conchologist. Okay. Chunk in a couple of them juicy points of damage. And so I'm not like amped about trying to run Swain into this board. Opponent's going to be they play Disintegrate is where I'm wanting to go with this, and so just dropping a Swain on here is just asking to get boomed by a Disintegrate. Definitely want to be pushing for the width on this turn. You probably can't add any more units here. You could play another portal or something, fine, but units shouldn't be on the table. And then if he's only going to get to block one with an aloof, it's kind of nice. It's unfortunate that these Codgers get popped by Ravenous Flux, but one problem at a time, okay? One at a time. Oh, he's dropping in the Disintegrate now. I'm a little tempted to bring in Swain if that's going to be the case. I was fully intended on open attacking, but if it's like, you know, one card down at this point, kind of tempted. Misfortune changes that a little bit. Alright, so I don't want to leave myself with 1 health unit, so I'm going to put the Fortune Croaker onto the other Fortune Croaker. We'll see if we pick up a 1. We don't. That's okay. We could still get Misfortune going here.
Looking for trouble?
We're gonna be attacking. It does suck that she trades into the Sentry, but we got to get the damages in. Got to get those booms online. And the flock. Sure. All right. Is this going to be the big Swain turn? Nope. The fuck is this thing? Deal 2 to an enemy. Your fast spells, slow spells, and skills have when I damage a stunned enemy or a damaged enemy, kill it. Okay. I've read your text.
Where's my axe?
I'm going to go ahead and bring a heavy metal on it. It's my... Okay. I think I'll start to feel a little bit better now. The idea with this is a couple of things. It gives us the opportunity to just kill the Broadbang in the middle of combat. And so that gives us some opportunities in terms of like flipping our Swain. But the big thing is if he's going to like pop off a bunch of spells on our Swain, I like being able to kill this dum-dum so that his like damage ability doesn't work. So if he plays like a 1-cost like group shot into another group shot or something, then we can take down the Broadmane. But cool. Wasn't enough to stop Big Daddy Swain. He says, I bring that thunder. I've got it all the time, all over the place. I think that's in Swain's vocabulary. That's one of his voice lines, I think. Appreciate it, dude. GG. All right, next battle. What do we got here? A little bit of Leona. Sure. Some Jin involved, though. You don't see Jin too often these days. I don't think Annie Jin's going to be making any resurgences anytime soon. So maybe in a post-rotation landscape, Jin will have some more opportunities. He's kind of interesting in that sense, given that Jin is really kind of limited in terms of the skill abilities that he has available to him, and as the format kind of tightens up, I'm curious. Like, I guess it's not nearly as bad with Jin when you have access to basically all the cards in the game, as so much as say someone like a Evelyn, as to where there's only a real handful of Husk cards. I would assume that they would just rotate all the Husk cards out, but who knows? At this point, it didn't feel like really strong on that previous attack to come in and get involved with these Solari soldiers. It's like, I can't decide if he's going to be doing like big Leona things or doing big Jin things. And at least as far as this game's concerned, like he was leading with the Leona things and it didn't feel super worthwhile to come in and try and punch in this damage. But just a really odd collection of early game stuff that I wasn't quite expecting, but we do get better options now. Not going to risk him playing a Leona this turn, so we'll just go ahead and open attack. And we're just going to have to like stall at this point and hope that the hope that the big Swain plans work. All right, got him for 3 damage. Ooh, that's actually kind of an interesting one in Weapons of the Lost. I'm excited to pick up that big Trifarian shield breaker because we don't have anything to do for a while. I wonder if we can just boom them with this thing. Unfortunate Shell Shocker. We can't play it and get our money back, but this is okay. He's playing skills and stuff. Probably have to just go ahead and Weapons of the Lost. I don't think we're gonna get too much value out of just trying to put a point of damage onto Jin. Right now we've got the big boy on board. It should do enough work in terms of keeping the Jin at bay. If he wants to play like a concussive palm onto the shield breaker or something, don't feel like I really care. And so we still have decent blocks on this turn if that's the outcome. I do think we need to like slow this down. I do want to like typically think that we're the aggro, but I don't know if this is just like a weird start from this deck to where they had all the 1-drops, or if we were actually just the control deck the whole time and we should have just been playing towards the Leviathan. It's tough for me to assess in this one, but like we can definitely slow this game down and get built up to Leviathan Swain. We have our Swain up to 5 ticks, and we can just get 12 ticks out of the Nox and Fervors, and so you can just play a Leviathan and flip.
Our performance begins.
Coming out of Targon, there's not a lot of combat tricks I really care about here. If he's going to hit with a Pale Cascade and loses Swain, I think that's okay. Is he just doing this for the backline kill? Eh. I don't really care. Alright, so let's see what he adds. I don't like opening into this board, but we do have the opportunity here to say Nox and Fervor a shield breaker, or his shield bearer, then maybe we can get the shield breaker in. Could just look to switch to Ravenous Flock now, but I think I want to use this as an opportunity to A, prevent a little bit of damage, and then B, just attack immediately, right? He doesn't have any units capable of stopping a shield breaker at this point. So, let's send it. Another Jin. He's really far away from flipping. I don't think we're particularly scared about this. So there is the opportunity just to like drop Swain this turn. that does open us up to being able to play both of our spells. But the downside here, is there any real downside to this? Like, as long as we don't die this turn, we probably won the game. But Swain's not going to get good attacks until next turn. I think my concern here would be if, like, we play the Leviathan and then he has a concussive palm or some kind of stun, and we don't have the mana to shut down his board. If we add the Swain here, we can at least, say, Nox and Fervor away, I don't know, the Demolitionist and block all of his other units. So, like, the maximum damage we should take this turn is 2. Here it comes. Concussive Palm. I feel it. What is this thing? Morning Light. And what's it? Oh, it gives everyone +1/+1. There's not a ton we can do about it, but we can kill 2 of his units. We can just wait until combat to kill those units, though it's not going to hurt anything. Okay. I ain't scared, bruh. Ask me if I'm scared. Moo Snuff. Is that, hey, Bust, you scared? Nah, bro, I ain't scared. Nah, bro. Oh, he didn't leave us in the spot to where we just come out and killed Jin? That's too bad. Alright, well, let's just prevent damage. He doesn't have any cards, so we don't have to worry about this extra piece here in the middle. So Swain will flip. I don't think this, what's his name here? The Shield Breaker is going to wake up next turn with damage on it. Right, it goes to 2. He naturally has 2, so that should heal. So we could look to just go ahead and Ravenous Flock him if we want. I think that's going to be the case. Then we'll have access to an additional Ravenous Flock next turn when we drop the Leviathan. We'll draw the Swain. We have a Swain on board. He flips into the Flock. Feels good. Prepare the cargo, bro. Give me the cargoes. Alright. GG.
History will remember us.
Alright. So, I'm going to pose this question. This video won't come out for like another 4 days, so it might sound kind of weird at the time, but are we going to get card previews this week? Do these start like here on the next day? I swore with like the previous few seasons that the card previews started like in the seasonals week, and then the new cards came out right after seasonals, but maybe things got pushed too close together. I'm not entirely certain how that worked out this season, and so I'm curious if we're going to get a bit of that. Now here, this is slightly awkward. I did this line to where we have the Fortune Croaker, but we have a 1-cost unit, or we can add the Jagged Butcher. My idea with this is I'm not like super into not attacking here, right? I want to be attacking and being the aggro. He's playing with action. We have, excuse me, a lot of interactive ways to like cause action problems in the beginning of the game. And so I didn't want to just like throw down the Jagged Butcher trade and then have no option with the Fortune Croaker. And so like here we could actually just play the Fortune Croaker to try and get the shutdown on action, but I don't think that's super worthwhile. I'm just going to add the Mirai Warden and then have all these units for the next turn. All the Mirai Wardens. Just like, does this Voidling ever flip? Curious. He's getting close. Got 2 keywords. That's not bad. Okay. So we got the action trade. Again, we lost all of our 2 health units, which is kind of meh, but not the end of the world. Let's see if we hit that heavy metal. Probably won't be able to drop it before action flips, but some opportunities for greatness there. That's all I ask for, game. Give me the opportunities for greatness. Snap that one off. Must have found that exciting equipment that he's been needing. Did. Alright, so what do we got here? I mean, we've got 7 mana. That lines up nicely to playing a Fortune Croaker, Nox and Fervor of the Flight. Let's lead out with the Croaker. See if we draw anything interesting here. I'm not opposed to just like dropping Nox and Fervors onto action at this point, but it's going to depend on what he has on board. Doesn't work nearly as well now. We could look to just punch in with the elusives at this point. Right, we're not going to get great attacks after this. Quicksand, that's dirty, bro. That's dirty. Okay, we're gonna kill this action here, but we can let the combat happen. He's out of mana, so the sequence doesn't super matter. But I definitely want to kill action before we roll into the next turn. So a little scary, a little scary. We're basically on the Swain plan now. So we don't quite have him leveled up. All the actions, though. So many actions coming at us. I think we can safely play the Jagged Butcher. We're never going to get it on board if we don't just play it now. Right? We're going to just like super refill with these Eye of Nagakaboros. So I think it's reasonable to just go ahead and slam it. Right, well, the third action is slightly problematic. I mean, he's big, but he's not dealing damage because he doesn't have any overwhelm. And so we'll see if we can't just get bigger than opponent on board. We got plenty of time here to just let the Leviathan and the Swains do their thing.
Bring these lands to their knees.
Say, who needs to attack when the Leviathan just does damage to the face? Right? That's the way it works. Who needs it? Alright, I definitely want to get our Swain flipping at this point. So we'll block this dum-dum. If we lose our Leviathan, it's not awesome, but it's not the end of the world. It's got a troll chant. Okay. This is fine. We can now use the Ravenous Flock to kill Brodio here. Do we have Swains still left in our deck? Let's do this. I think we should still have one. But this is still a safe way to go about it. If you need a Swain in your deck before you play the Leviathan and don't want to lose it, you can shuffle that Swain back in and then redraw him. But here, we have this flipped Swain now. We're going to have double Leviathan. We should be able to just stun his whole team next turn. And then get lethal with the leftovers. Perfect. So we're going to get stuns on all of his units. LOL. It's not a circle ability, so this Swain strike into the actions is still going to stun them through the spell shields. Now it looks like we're ready to attack. Got him. GG, my Swain friends. The Leviathan's a fun card, right? But that's why we took the Riptide Sermons out of the deck, is you have this opportunity now to just play the Leviathan and then draw another 5-drop. Just so much mana spend between all the Leviathans and the Swains that that 6 damage big like late game tempo swing just got crowded out by all of the mana spend from these just expensive bruisers. Up against old Panda Poop, bringing a little Nami Lee Sin. See how it goes. All right, that's an aggressive enough start. Spend 6 mana on units by the end of turn 3. No complaints here. This is tough. I don't think we should play the Shell Shocker here. I think we should probably lead in with the Codger. Because if we're going to go into the next turn and play the Marai Warden and then opponent hits us with a Make It Rain, we're going to regret not just putting down a 2 health unit. It's not like we lost out on any damage that round. He didn't have it for some kind of punish, but that doesn't change anything. Now here we do have this kind of interesting space to where if he plays a unit, we might be able to kill it, right? This is a big double trouble turn. And so if we get to clean up a little bit of this double trouble, deal a point of damage to face, and then have the Jagged Butcher come in. Did you all just get a little tingly on the inside? You get that little tingle on the inside. It feels good. The blood starts rushing around. Say, oh, that's what Pirates is all about. And slightly interesting, slightly relevant here is we do have a Pix support into the Krusty Codger, which would then give it a permanent, that, I guess it's not really a permanent boost, but as the support ends, it would have healed a point of damage, which it looks like is going to be the case here. It'll probably just block the Jagged Butcher with his 3/1. Okay. Got him to 10. Not bad. So another strong turn coming up. We get to drop Zap here. Go into the following turn. Open with the Eye of Nagakaboros. Get a big chunk of damage in. The Nox and Fervors turns up for all them beautiful damages. Feels good, man. All right, here comes the squad. Looks like we should take him to 2, assuming he blocks our Jagged Butcher. Okay. Gets to prevent a little more. Ooh, falling to 3 is very dangerous. I don't know at this point. Maybe you have to just assume you're dead to a Nox and Fervor, but that can't feel good to fall to 3 when your opponent just played Zap. Get you on the board, Butcher.
I will find the Moonstone. I will save my people.
Alright, so what I'll say with this board, I'm good to go ahead and add the Butcher. We're going to have to assume opponent can't kill us next turn, but they can probably get a fully wide board, depending if they have another double trouble, or it's probably not going to get all the way full, but they can probably get 3 units down without much effort. And so I really want to be getting this Misfortune plus the Nox and Fervor. And so Misfortune should be our play for the turn, just to ensure that we get a way to deal a point of damage outside of combat.
What could you ever teach me?
We'll just go ahead and drop her. If he wants to attack with the Disciples, we do have a zap block, and we can follow up with another unit. Lee Sin doesn't worry me, though. It would have been nice if we had, like, one more mana. I wish we could have, like, thrown down the Fervor, like, right now, when he doesn't have the mana to play Denies. And then still finished with a fully wide board.
My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Okay. This will work out just fine. We have another unit to throw down. Welcome, Jagged Butcher. We have the Ravenous Flock to kill either Lee Sin or Nami. I mean, I could see the argument for either one, right? With the Nami gives him the opportunity to go wide and finish the game. I feel like the Lee Sin is just going to take more work to actually get the kills, right? He needs the 3 spells to get the flip. He needs a way to get overwhelmed, and then he also needs to be able to have like 10 power on the current board. And so I think we're a little safer just getting rid of the Nami, since it's easier to get a relevant board for opponent.
Let's get to it.
Right, if they just play like another Vestayan Disciple, if they put down a, what's his name? Fleet Admiral Shelley. That's like a lot easier and respectable line than it is to just get this Twisted Fate going, or get this Lee Sin going.
I will not hold back.
So far, so lethal.
The dragon spirit awakens.
Alright, I think we're good to go. That was the last of his mana. This would... He does have the block on the Jagged Butcher to only fall to 1, but we got the Nox and Fervor in hand. Boom 'em. Alright. W marked bust. GG. So that's the thing. Like that match, it doesn't feel easy. Like I'm not really excited about going into seasonals and just playing Nami Twisted Fate over and over again, but it's certainly winnable. That felt like a match where, you know, I even if I could see all of the opponent's cards, it would be really hard for me to judge if they played poorly or not. Like I don't have any experience with that deck. I don't really plan on having any experience with that deck. It's just not something I'd find fun to play. And so I do like worry that, you know, whether or not they played well or not, it wasn't like a super easy win. Which I would kind of prefer it to be as like the popular deck that we're just allowing to run rampant. But I think I still feel a little bit more comfortable just banning out the Swain decks at this point. Just so ultra powerful. It just seems a little bit stronger than the Nami decks at this point. And I don't feel like anyone's going to come up with like a real solution to Swain that's good against the rest of the field here in the next 3 or 4 days outside of Nami Twisted Fate. And so I do think it's good that we're good against it, and then the plan to not ban it. It doesn't mean we'll never run into a situation where we don't ban it, but I think I'm still on board with this kind of like ban Swain first kind of feeling. Okay. At least a 50-50 on the day. That's all it takes to win a thing like seasonals, right? You just got to go 50-50 in every match. That's tough. Like it's like easy to get kind of discouraged in these things if you don't have like a super high win rate, right? Everybody wants to just come out and win. I think at least like the last time I saw statistics on like Grand Prix and Magic the Gathering, it was like LSV was the top Grand Prix player with like a 75% win rate on day one, which is just absolutely absurd. Getting that he would also like have 3 buys, so he didn't have 3 buys of just playing against random Friday Night Magicers. And then I think on day 2, he was able to carry like a 60-some% win rate against what is basically just a little bit weaker than a Pro Tour, but most certainly extremely capable players. And it's tough to like when you envision like having like a 50% win rate as being like good, right? That means you're doing a fair amount of losing around half the time, you know. So it's just strange to get it like in your head that like if you're gonna have a 55% win rate against the best in the world, and then you ended up in a spot to where you know you play 100 games and you lose 45 of them. It feels kind of weird and odd, but it is exceptionally good and exceptionally strong. But all right, back to the action up against the old Trundle timelines. We didn't get a really great start here. Right, we started off with no one drops. We recovered kind of quickly, but it's still not ideal to have this 2 spell mana banked up. And then he did manage to have the turn 2 concurrent timelines. And so a little bit of catching up to do, but I think we're in a decent space. Getting to drop a zap here and then either a Swain and another unit or something next turn. What do we feel about this Caitlyn? Like, I'm kind of tempted to just throw a Nox and Fervor at her. Prevent those things from coming into the deck, and then also getting 6 ticks on our Swain. The downside to this is if he has a Mystic Shot, it's going to be a problem. But I think this is actually kind of worth it here. The other upside to actually dealing with this Caitlyn is if we do play Swain next turn, it really limits what he has that can block it. So, it doesn't feel super awesome, but I think that's good. And again, this deck, at least the versions of Trundle Caitlyn I was playing, don't play a ton of removal. Like, they would play like 1 Thermogenic Beam, maybe 2 or 3 Mystic Shots, and then like 1 or 2 Aftershocks. They weren't playing the world's best removal spells as a means to control that early game. They're much more interested in just playing on curve in the biggest unit that they can every turn. Puffcat Peddler. Do we ever just try and get a takedown on it? Like getting this... Alright. Three Sisters into Fury of the North, you say? It's okay. We're going to lose our Swain, but we're getting a pretty healthy chunk of damage in. And we've got this really burn-heavy hand right now. And so we realistically have 7 damage of burn in hand, and we just need to hit for 4 more. I'm curious, I've thought about this before. I wonder if I would hate it more. See, here's a lifesteal. I wonder if I would hate it more if lifesteal was a possibility as an equipment as opposed to scout.
Hello, new best friend.
But we can at least take the fangs off of the board here. Uh-oh. Ooh. Did we mess that up? Like, we just can't let him gain all of this health. That's a big no Skaruski.
You'll regret when I lift this.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and send this damage at it. And then we can just lead off. Well, we don't have to lead off with Make It Rain next turn. We could just go with Heavy Metal and use that to be the way to get the unit off of the board. A little scary. We could have just killed this with the Heavy Metal, right? Now that I'm coming back and looking at it, the Fangs is just I thought that the Fangs, I slipped up on how that worked. We should have just played the Heavy Metal. I forgot that the Forged Weapon was what was giving it the bonus. I was thinking in my head that it's a 3-power unit, and it wasn't because of the Forge. And so that was a little bit sloppy. We could have gotten through that a little bit better. Make it rain like a boss here to save the day, though. But right, that would have been much better last turn to just play heavy metal onto the Puffcut Peddler, because we would have gotten the kill. Or played the heavy metal on the dude, because we would have just gotten the kill and we would have gotten the equipment. The forge would have gone away. I wasn't anticipating all of the health on it coming from... I thought we were going to play heavy metal and the user wasn't going to die. Oh, we got puff capped. And Reggie comes to the party.
I'm your man.
So how do we feel about this? I want to punch in some damage with units this turn, right? We're got to play either make it rain and hope we hit Reggie, or we have to heavy metal and use that as our means to just get the guaranteed kill onto Reggie. Then we get to punch in 6. Gets us kind of close to the lethals. I think it's okay, though, if we just go ahead and make it rain, hope to hit. And if we miss, we'll just attack with our zaps. But we managed to hit here, so I'm going to attack with everybody.
Let's do this.
I'm a peddler, not a meddler.
Would have been nice if the peddler was falling off the board, but I don't think we're in a space to complain. I don't think that's legal at the moment.
No prey, no pay.
Okay, he swaps equipment, so he can't play anything real big. He can't play Buried in the Ice or anything here. I think we're okay. We would have been short on Buried in the Ice mana anyways. I see what he's... this was now a mistake. We're not going to get lethal, but he's going to put the Scout onto Trundle and get a double attack in. We should have waited on him to put the... He has a Scout equipment, right? Right, he's going to put this upcycled Rake onto Trundle. That's what we should be destroying here, not that unit. I was thinking in my head that I forgot that that one existed. A little bit sloppy today. A little bit sloppy. We might still be okay. I think we're going to get this, but this is not the level of play that gets you a seasonals victory. We have to clean this up a little bit. All right, so we fall to 4. Should be safe from burn. He's going to need 2 cards to deal with our zaps. Not doable for this deck, but hopefully challenging. He's already played 1 Three Sisters. Comes a second. Three Sisters Mystic Shot would do it. Does he have it? Nope. Takes more than that to overcome FTP Bust playing poorly. GG. Okay. Next battle. I'm level 10 excited right now. But Bust, how many levels are there? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm certainly at level 10. Good stuff. Nothing better than putting these little aggro units on the board, turning them sideways, hitting up the red zone. That's the way I like to spend my days. Well, let's see what we're up against here. The Twisted Fate Swain. I at least feel like this is useful as well. Like, I complain a little bit about having to play best of threes. Or, no, I'm sorry, having to play best of one when you're trying to practice for best of 3. And, like, if your strategy is to just, like, ban Swain 100% of the time, then it feels like a real time waster to A, be out here doing battle against Swain, and then B, you're probably playing some kind of deck that just has a real shit tier matchup against Swain. And so you're losing out on your ladder rank as well. So if you needed the LPs for whatever reason, if that's qualifying for Worlds or trying to rank higher in seasonals or qualify for seasonals, you lose out because you just like have to play this. But like I don't feel like this is worthless for us today. I feel like there's a lot of times to where like as you saw across our gauntlet videos, we were looking to just ban Leona, and then if we had to play against Twisted Fate, then whatever. Or I'm sorry, if we had to play against Swain, then whatever. But the general idea was that we were going to be banning Swain, but there were some other options, and so this is a matchup I suspect we'll have to play, a few times at seasonals, but it's not like a just complete time waster as it's kind of felt like in some formats past. But here, I do want to get the misfortune on the board. Dude's got the 1/1 tentacles, so we should be able to shoot it down in combat, keep his tentacles in check. This also helps us level up our Swain, right? We're currently at 4 from the Crusty Codgers, but assume that he plays another unit. We get to actually attack, and the left tap happens. That should give us +3 in terms of leveling up our Swain. All right, here comes the squad. For that +3 to unlock, he would have to block with everything, right? But I would assume that he's pretty interested in not taking the damage. It seems like he has a fairly slow draw this game. Okay. Looks like Misfortune will not be surviving the combat. That's okay. Well, I guess she'll probably go down next turn when the Ravenous Flock decides to rear its head. But we're up to level 7 on Swain now. Not bad. Level 7. Maybe it's out of 12. That's what what our level of happy is to be. It's out of 12. 10 out of 12 is pretty good, man. That's like, is that like 90%? 90% happy for the day? That's pretty good. I don't have too many complaints in life. I'm usually at level 10 plus. I mean, fuck, I got all this time to just sit around and make videos of myself playing children's card games. Things should be going pretty good. All right, let's get another attack in here. So he may have, like a Ravenous Flock or something to deal with the Misfortune, but we most certainly get to activate the Love Tap this round. He's not getting out of that. And that seems good. It seems nice. He's not going to have a card for Misfortune if he's blocking her with Zap. But was he just going to go for the Hail Mary Make It Rain? Ooh, is that what one of these is going to be? No. Now, do we want to in turn play our Make It Rain, since it will kill the Zap along with the Love Tap and then preserve our Tentacle? I think I'm pretty on board with this. Also prevents a... Well, the rear guard would be safe either way, but protecting our Tentacle seems legit. So now the potential scary thing here is opponent is going to be like leveled up to Swain, and we don't have a blocker. So if he does have a Swain here, our board's just going to get AoE'd. That was a very lucky draw in the Swain of our own, giving us the potential to throw down. Gonna go for the heavy metal here. If we're gonna be following up with Swain, I would like to have his 3-power unit off of the board. Give us a little opportunity for some open attack boom booms. That's my favorite kind, my favorite flavor, the open attack boom booms, but let's see. So we have a legitimate decision here as well. Do we want to open attack? And we do have the Overwhelm into the Arachnoid Sentry, but like this is a really tough spot for him to deal with the Leviathan as well. And so he's just played like double Spider. I don't know if this deck typically plays 3, but like what's he going to do here? If he just adds the Leviathan, we're going to have super strong attacks. Oh, he's got the 3rd Spider. Dang. Okay. I think this is still good. That's like, let's be real, that's pretty hard to pull off. Having the triple Spider. He's still going to get nugged for a ton of damage this turn, and he's going to have to like deal with the Leviathan, right? He's going to have to play like a Disintegrate or something to try and get it off of the board. Otherwise, we're just going to start going ham on him next turn with the Swain stuns. So I think we're still in a really good spot here, even though he did have the 3rd stun. Beautiful. Artillery Barrage. Get him, bruh. Ready to send this Nox and Fervor in. There it is. Victory for me.
We have done what is needed.
Good job, Fam Jam. All right, last battle. If you're new on the scene, we do 8 battles, unless we're playing a bunch of filthy control decks. Try to keep the video about an hour long. Those filthy control decks turn up, you might only get 3 games in. So try and cancel that shit right out. Okay, Nami Lee Sin. And again, as I suspect, as we're coming up on seasonals, you would probably be seeing the Twisted Fate pulled out of this, and then that would give you the opportunity to play Twisted Fate and something else. I don't imagine that you would want to be playing 1 copy of Twisted Fate, and that having that be it. You don't get any more.
You won't get past me.
All right, so he played Dude turn 1. He's not going to be able to double trouble this turn. So we're going to get all of our friends on the board, get a nice attack in. If he hadn't played a unit, I could see an argument for just going for an open so we don't get shut down by a potential double trouble. But I think we would probably still want to just be adding the units, since they have a pretty good chance of just hitting a 1 health or 1 power attacker. But this looks quite good. He did hit the Overwhelm. That's exceptionally good for Lee Sin. But we're getting these high-powered attacks in. He's not getting to bank any spell mana. Feels good.
Looking for trouble? It found you.
If he banks here, we'll definitely be opening next turn. Right, this would be a pretty classic. I want to play Double Trouble next round, and so I would just send them in. Interesting to see the Disciple come in. Maybe we just battle here. That's tough. And that, like, if we start dealing damage to our units, become susceptible to Make It Rains. I think this is okay, though. We got to press this advantage. It feels like he's digging, right? It seems like he's not doing any banking. He's doing all this cycling. He's just trying to get really defensive. And I don't want to give him the opportunity to kind of let up. So I think these trades are going to be quite good, especially now that we've came in and like picked up a Riptide Rex. This should give us a reasonable way to close out the game, should he be able to stop what we're doing here. All right, battle time. Rip Misfortune, you fought valiantly, but your efforts have not gone unnoticed. Highly appreciated from Team Bust. Look at this poor Nami. She says, I've only got to bank 1 spell mana this game. Life is very hard for me. Life is very hard for me, friends. Into Wuju style. He's gonna have to play both halves. That's fantastic. Okay. All right. Well, we're ready with more action. We got the zap on this upcoming turn, and then the open attack with the Eye of Nagakaboros. Looking fancy, looking special. I dig it.
Go with the flow. Time the cannons! You can't do this.
All right, let's go ahead and take care of Shelly while we can. Leave us with a nice looking open attack here. Looks a little less nice now, but I think it's okay. He's not getting the bonuses off of Shelly on other units, then it gives us a nice spot. So it'll be one short of the lethal. Sad day. This would have been a reason to have not blocked last turn since we lost out on 2 points of attacker, but the bonus side to this is he should be losing Shelly in combat, and then he's just going to have to refill again. I guess the thing to worry about is like how big has his Lee Sin gotten, and can he OTK us with Lee Sin next turn? Which isn't impossible. I think I might have been happier if we pulled back on that previous turn and then just pushed in that extra 2 damage now. This is one of these spots to where we talk about having the width on the board and being able to have a fully wide board. We wouldn't have actually been able to fill out our board here, and so we probably shouldn't have pushed that attack in.
There's plenty of killing left.
But I think we're okay. Like, the thing that we would ultimately have to worry about here would be Lee Sin coming down. And if he wants to Lee Sin and Dragon Kick and give Overwhelm, that should be too much mana. Should be. Needs 1 spell to flip.
Destination in sight.
Machines mean nothing to the dragon.
Let's see. In the Wuju style, it's going to be able to take down our Leviathan. This is tough. I was thinking with this in that I didn't want to add just like a bunch of units on the board, because if he had the oh my god, we just got lethal, didn't we? Oh, brutal. I was gonna say if he had the answer to the Leviathan, then we wouldn't have a way to get a kill there. But that one most certainly came down to that block onto Shelly. We should not have done that. But that's one of the things I talk about with these aggro decks, right? You have that like one really critical decision, and that one little slip up will end up costing you the game. And so it's just a matter of playing your units in the right order and doing the right thing. We should have definitely just not blocked there. That was a little bit unfortunate. I got in my head. I was like, ooh, we can get a block and play a Make It Rain and get the Shelly off of the board. But with the failure there, I think it's not guaranteed that we would have won the game on the next turn, but he would have had to have devoted a lot of like weird resources to not dying, right? If he had to spend a Ionia heal thing to try and get out of the turn there or something, then we would have had a little bit more potential to win. But good set of games. I was pretty happy with how this panned out. I still think I'm enjoying this heavy metal in here. We had a lot of good opportunities for it today, even though we messed it up as well. And I think we had a pretty good time with this. The thing I'm kind of questionable on is this Riptide Rex. I just don't think we're going to have the time to use it. I'm kind of envisioning some of these grind fests coming about to where the Riptide Rex is good, but I think we should probably just cut it for something else. But it's interesting with this in that I don't really want more like Shell Shockers. I'm curious of the card I'd want. It might be like just like an Ionian Taskmaster or whatever the equipment improvise thing is, just to have another good early 2-drop. Because that does do a similar thing for us, as to where we're just like looking for some ways to spend a little bit of extra mana as the game drags on. And having access to that equipment would be a similar way to go about it. And so maybe that's what I'll look to try as I try to get my list finalized for the rest of the way. But otherwise, really happy with everything happening here. Very powerful. And you can see there, I mean, it's not, I wasn't intending on this to be a fantastic ladder grinder, but we had a really good and strong set of games today. We played poorly and still were managing to climb, and so you should be able to play poorly and climb as well, I would think. Swain is just Swain is just quite powerful, and I'm glad I kind of picked up on that idea. I think it was probably reading from Mage and Bay talking about it as to where it really clicked when it would have been in the Aphelios season, not the Aphelios one. It would have been the one afterward, the Winding Light season with Aphelios, and when he was just like, "Yeah, it's just the best deck in the format. I'm going to play it," with the intent to ban it. And then that kind of like, I don't know why that never registered for me, but it never really clicked that you could plan to ban a deck and then still just play it yourself. And that's how I kind of feel with like Swain in this one. I think Swain is ultimately the most powerful and grindy and strong thing that you can be doing. And if you plan to ban Swain, you should still be bringing him. And so I'm pretty happy that we've kind of picked up this lineup and we've picked up a list of Swain that I enjoy playing, even though it's not the consensus best one in the format. And so that's going to do it for us. I had fun with this. I hope you had fun with it too, because that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope your day was okay, even without a decimate. I hope you got up to happiness level 10. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.